July 7th, 1730. A French colony called Ile Bourbon. A one-eyed pirate stands beneath the gallows, and he is smiling. His name is Olivier Levasseur. They call him La Buse, the Buzzard, and around his neck hangs a small leather pouch. Inside that pouch is a code. 17 lines of strange symbols drawn in his own hand. The location of the largest pirate treasure ever taken. He unfolds it. The crowd leans in. The hangman waits. The French governor's marines shift uneasily. And then he throws it into the crowd, and he shouts the words that haunt treasure hunters to this day. My treasure to him who understands. This is the story of how a Navy officer's son became the most cunning pirate of the Indian Ocean and vanished into a riddle. Calais, northern France, 1688. A bourgeois merchant family welcomes a son they name Olivier Levasseur. His father is no aristocrat, but no pauper either. The Levasseurs trade in cloth and paper. They can afford books and tutors. By age 10, he reads Latin. By 12, he charts coastlines from memory. The boy is sharp, too sharp for cloth. France is at war. The harbor fills with privateers and naval officers. The boy memorizes every flag, every cannon, every uniform. 1707. He is 19. He enlists as an officer cadet in the Marine Royale and learns war at the cannon's mouth. The War of the Spanish Succession. 6 years of Atlantic skirmishes, boarding actions. He survives them all and learns there is gold in chaos. The king grants him a letter of marque. He is now a corsair, a legal pirate, sanctioned to attack the enemies of France. For 6 years, he hunts English and Dutch shipping in the name of Louis XIV. He grows rich, he grows confident, he grows used to taking. Then in 1713, the Treaty of Utrecht. Peace with England. The letters of marque are torn up. Overnight, every corsair captain of France is unemployed. Olivier Levasseur is 25, skilled, ambitious, broke, and the king has no further use for him. But across the Atlantic, on a sun-blasted island called New Providence, the unemployed are rewriting the rules of the sea. They call it the Republic of Pirates. 500 outlaws. No king, no church, equal shares of everything they steal. Late 1716. He arrives in Nassau. The harbor is a forest of black flags. The streets stink of rum, tar, and gunpowder. He sails under Hornigold, then Samuel Bellamy, then Edward England. He learns the new trade fast. The pirates do not call him sir. They call him cousin. But Olivier is no foremast hand. Within months, the crew votes, as pirates do by show of hands, and Olivier Levasseur becomes captain. He raises his own black flag. The crew names him Le Buse, the Buzzard, for the way he swoops on prey before anyone hears him coming. 1719. He sails for the coast of West Africa. Guinea, Sierra Leone, the Slave Coast. The hunting is rich. The ships are heavy with gold dust and ivory. He raids the Royal African Company. He raids Portuguese slavers. He raids anything that floats, and he is very good at it. He sails in loose company with Edward England and Howell Davis, fellow captains, fellow exiles of empire, sharing prey and powder. But in a brawl off the Guinea coast, boarding a heavily defended Portuguese trader, a cutlass slash takes his left eye. He survives. The ship's surgeon, half drunk, stitches the wound shut with a sailmaker's needle and a smear of tallow. When he stands again, he ties a leather patch over the socket. From that day, every man in the Atlantic knows the one-eyed Frenchman. 1718. King George of England offers a royal pardon to every pirate in the Atlantic. Hornigold takes it. Many do. Buse refuses. He will not go home to Calais and sell cloth. He turns his bow south, and then he turns it east, toward a sea no European hunters yet ruled. The Atlantic is crowded with hunters now. The Royal Navy is everywhere. But the Indian Ocean? The Indian Ocean is still wide open. 1720. He leads his crew around the Cape of Good Hope. Those seas have killed thousands. They kill some of his men too. But they make it. They emerge into warm green water. And they find Madagascar, the haven pirates had whispered about for 50 years. Île Sainte-Marie, a pirate town off Madagascar's eastern shore. Dozens of black flags in the harbour. No European law reaches here. He buys land. He takes a wife from the local Betsimisaraka people. He becomes almost a settled man. Almost. But the ships still come past his hilltop. Arab dhows from Muscat, East Indiamen from London, Portuguese carracks from Goa, and Buse cannot stop watching. Late 1720, he meets another exiled captain, the Englishman John Taylor, commanding a 40-gun ship called the Cassandra. Together, they command 80 guns and 200 men. They begin hunting in tandem, and then they hear the rumor that changes everything. The Portuguese Viceroy of India, the Count of Ericeira, is sailing home, aboard the Nossa Senhora de Cabo. Cargo: a king's ransom in jewels. April 1721. A monsoon storm batters the Nossa Senhora de Cabo. Her mainmast cracks. She limps toward the French colony of Île Bourbon, modern Réunion, for emergency repairs. To lighten her for repair, the captain orders most of her 72 cannons unloaded onto the beach. The greatest treasure ship of the season is now defenseless. Buse and Taylor are watching. From a hidden cove 20 miles up the coast, their two ships slip anchor at dusk. They approach at dawn, when the harbour watch is changing and the Portuguese officers still asleep. They sail under a false English flag. The first cannon roar comes from the Cassandra, then grapples fly, then bare feet hit the Portuguese deck. The Viceroy of India is dragged from his cabin in his nightshirt. His guards surrender. Not a single pirate is killed. And then they open the hold. Bars of gold, chests of diamonds from Golconda, pearls, silks, religious treasures stripped from the Cathedral of Goa for the king's pleasure. And at the back of the hold, wrapped in oilcloth, taller than a man, the Fiery Cross of Goa, solid gold, studded with rubies, emeralds, and diamonds the size of pigeon eggs. By conservative modern reckoning, the haul is worth over $400 million. Some estimate more than $1 billion. Either way, the largest pirate prize ever taken. They spend a full day transferring the cargo. The viceroy, mortified, is allowed to keep his nightshirt and is ransomed back, alive, for 2,000 piastres. When the Portuguese governor of Réunion finally rides down to the harbour, Buse and Taylor are already over the horizon. They sail south, then east. They divide the spoils on a Madagascar beach. Each common sailor receives a lifetime's wages. The captains take more. Taylor takes his share to the Caribbean. He bribes a Spanish governor for amnesty and disappears into respectability. He dies in a plantation bed, untouched. Buse does the opposite. He returns to Sainte Marie. He buys silence. He hides his share. And he tells no one, not even his wife, where it lies. Some say he split the treasure across multiple islands. Some say he hid it on Marque in the Seychelles. Some say he buried it on Réunion itself, under the noses of the French. What is recorded in these years on the granite boulders of Bel Ombre Beach on Marque? Strange carvings begin to appear. Eyes, snakes, a dog, a turtle, a horse. Pirate code, astronomical markers, or just decoration left by bored sailors. Treasure hunters argue about them to this day. For 10 years, Buse lives in the open on Sainte Marie. He trades, he drinks, he raises children. He grows older. He grows careless. Because, while Buse rests, the French East India Company does not. They want their seas back, and they have not forgotten the Nossa Senhora de Cabo. 1730. Captain Hermit of the French Navy receives an informer's tip. He sails for Madagascar with 2 warships. He knows exactly where Buse drinks. There is no battle. Buse is taken in his own house, at his own table, in front of his own family. 60 years old, tired, outnumbered. They put him in irons. They march him to the longboat. They sail him to St. Paul on Ile Bourbon, Réunion, to stand trial. His trial is short. The charges include the Nossa Senhora do Cabo. They already know what he stole. What they want, more than punishment, is to know where it is. They offer him his life, reveal the treasure, and live. Buse refuses. He smiles. He says he will tell no man what he has hidden. In his cell, in the days before the execution, he is given paper and ink for a confession that never comes. He uses it for something else. 17 lines of Cipher, a modified pigpen code with substitutions of his own invention. He folds it small. He sews it into a leather pouch. He hangs it around his neck. He sleeps the night before his execution. Witnesses said he sleeps better than the chaplain who comes to confess him. Dawn, July 7th, 1730. They take him from his cell. They walk him through St. Paul to a beach where a wooden scaffold rises out of the sand. Among the crowd, the families of men he killed, sailors he served with, French officers who hate him, and merchants who quietly admire him. He climbs the steps. He looks at the noose. He looks at the crowd. The patch over his left eye has been freshly cleaned. He chose to die looking like the buzzard. The governor calls out one last time, confess the location, and live as a prisoner. Buse only shakes his head. He raises his bound hands to his throat. He pulls the leather pouch from inside his shirt. He works it free of its cord. He unfolds the parchment. He holds it high. The crowd murmurs and presses forward against the line of soldiers. With a snap of his wrist, he throws it. Up, out, over the heads of the soldiers and into the hands of the people who hate him. And he shouts the words that 300 years later, no one has ever truly explained. My treasure to him who understands. The hangman steps forward. The trap opens. Buse the Buzzard is dead at 62. But the cipher is loose. By that evening, 3 copies exist. By the next month, a dozen. Within a year, the cipher is in private collections across France. And the hunt for Buse's treasure begins. And it has never stopped. The first serious hunters arrive on Marque in the Seychelles in the 1920s, drawn by the strange carvings at Bel Ombre Beach. In 1949, a former British Army officer named Reginald Cruise Wilkins arrives. He believes the carvings are not random. He believes they are a map. He spends 28 years digging at El Ombre. He finds tunnels. He finds wooden pylons. He finds coffins with human remains and pistols. He never finds the chest. He dies in 1977, broke, certain he was close. His son John takes over. John dies in 2010, also certain. The hole at Bel Ombre is still there. Cryptographers have studied the cipher for decades. Most agree on the framework, pig-pen substitution, with Levasseur's own additions and intentional traps. The decoded fragments speak of a stream, a grave, a nail, a horse's hoof, of measurements taken from a particular tree, on a particular shore, on a particular morning. But which shore? Marque? Sainte-Marie? Réunion? Mauritius? Buse sailed all of them. He had 10 years to bury what he wanted to hide. And there is a darker possibility, that Buse never hid the treasure at all, that he gave it away, gambled it, spent it, and the cipher was his last great trick on his executioners. But against that theory, the size of the Nossa Senhora's hold, 25 tons of cargo. You do not lose 25 tons of gold in taverns. Some of it surfaced. Bars of Portuguese mint gold appeared in Boston in the 1730s. A ruby cross of Goan origin sold in Calcutta in 1743, both untraceable past one transaction. Most of it never reappeared. The Fiery Cross of Goa, solid gold, taller than a man, has not been seen by any verified witness since April 1721. The carvings at Bel Ombre are still there. You can walk past them today. Tourists touch them. Sea spray weathers them. Nobody knows what they mean. The government of Seychelles has for decades denied permission for new excavations. Too many holes, too few results, too much damage to the coast. Treasure hunters now work digital terrain instead, scanning the cipher with AI, with frequency analysis, with every cryptographic tool the 21st century can build. Most attempts produce one of 2 outputs, gibberish or a paragraph too vague to dig by. The cipher resists. The buzzard, it seems, prepared well. Why did he do it? Why throw the cipher at all? Why not destroy it or carry it to the grave silently, as so many condemned pirates did? Some historians believe it was revenge, a final taunt at the French and Portuguese empires that hunted him, a poison gift, an unsolvable riddle to consume men's lives for centuries. Others believe it was hope, that somewhere among his Malagasy children he had a relative he trusted to find it, a son, a daughter, a grandchild, who never came. And some believe, quietly in the corners of treasure hunter forums, that the cipher was never meant to be solved by translation at all, that it is a map, a key, a riddle of geography. 300 years on, the buzzard's treasure is still out there. Or it isn't. The cipher is still unsolved. Or it has been, by someone who said nothing. The choice, he said with a smile, is yours.